Hello everyone. We'll see one of the important topic from your chapter life process, that is respiration. So before going to respiration, first we'll see what is the difference between breathing and respiration. Breathing means we are taking the oxygen, intaking of oxygen to your body. We are taking the oxygen and we are expelling or we are exhaling the carbon dioxide. That we will call it as a breathing. But respiration, if you are saying, it's a biochemical process or it's a chemical process happening inside our body. And when we are breathing, we are not releasing any energy. We are actually consuming the energy. But respiration, we are actually releasing the energy. We are converting our glucose into energy and we are releasing the energy which is necessary for our body. Next, this breathing is happening inside our respiratory organs. For example, for us lungs, if you are seeing aquatic animals like fishes and all, we can tell it is inside the gills. So when we are seeing the respiration will happen inside our cell, especially the part of mitochondria. And that place will change according to the type of respiration. Next, there is no enzymes are involved inside the breathing. We are simply taking the air and releasing the carbon dioxide. But if you are seeing the respiration, there is a lot of enzymes are present. There is a lot of enzymes for the biochemical process. Now let's see what is respiration. Respiration, it's a biochemical process where the glucose is going to oxidize and they will release the energy. Means this glucose is going to react with the oxygen and we will get energy. This energy is stored in the form of ATP. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. After the respiration, these energies are stored in the form of ATP. ATP, we will call it as a energy currency. Here what's actually happening inside our body, when we have the oxygen, when we are getting the oxygen, this glucose is reacting with oxygen and mainly they will produce energy and they will store it in the form of ATP. Now after this production, we will get two byproduct. One is carbon dioxide, another one is water. Now let's see what are the three different conditions for respiration. First one we'll see absence of oxygen. In absence of oxygen, this glucose is converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide. Okay, along with the energy. Remember, in these three cases also, we will get energy. Along with this product, we will get energy also. So first condition, which is happening inside the yeast. And this process of converting sugar into ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy, we will call it as fermentation, which is generally used for food production. So after the fermentation, this glucose is converting into ethanol and carbon dioxide. Here we will get a very less amount of energy, or we can tell generally we will get from one molecule we will get two molecules of ATP. Next one is happening in lack of oxygen. Lack of oxygen, we know when we are doing some hard exercises or if any athletics or when we are running and all, we are not able to breathe properly. So we will get a lack of oxygen. Respiration will happen inside the human muscle cells. And there they are going to produce lactic acid and we will get a very low amount of energy. Here remember, this lactic acid is the reason why we are getting muscle cramps or muscle pains. Now remember, this lactic acid will accumulate on our muscle cells and when we are doing heavy exercises and all, we will get a muscle cramps or muscle pains. Next we can see presence of oxygen, which generally happening. Okay, here this presence of oxygen, we will get a carbon dioxide, water and energy. And here remember, this lack of oxygen and absence of oxygen is happening inside the cytoplasm. And this respiration, we will call it as anaerobic respiration. But the presence of oxygen, it is happening inside the mitochondria. And this we will call it as aerobic respiration. Okay. Now let's see the pathway of air in human. First one were the nostrils, where air is entering inside our nose. Next we have the nasal cavity. Nasal cavity have two functions. First one, they will filter the air and they will remove all the dust particles. And for this, they have a air inside our nasal cavity. So after filtering the air, they are going to adjust the temperature of air into body temperature. So that is a function of nasal cavity. Next, the air will enter inside pharynx, where you can see the two from mouth, that is foot pipe and the windpipe, that both will combine. Up to pharynx, we have both the same pipe. That's why we are able to breathe even through the mouth. Now at this pharynx, we have one more muscle called epiglottis. This epiglottis act like a valve. First, if you are seeing, we have the foot pipe and we have the windpipe. Here at this end, at the junction, or we can tell at this pharynx, there is a valve. So what will happen when we are eating the food? When we are eating the food, this epiglottis will block our windpipe and they will allow food to go through the stomach. And when we are breathing, actually this epiglottis will open from here and this epiglottis is going to block the food pipe. So the air will correctly enter inside the lungs. So that is a function of epiglottis and pharynx. After that, this air will come to the larynx, where we have the vocal cord or sound box, which will create the sound. Next, after that, we have the main windpipe, that is called trachea. Now this trachea is going to divide into two branches, that is called a bronchi. Now this bronchi is having multiple branches inside our lungs, that's called a bronchioles. Now at the end of bronchioles, you can see like these structures. These structures are called alveoli. Now this alveoli is actually exchange the gas between blood. Now you can see here, this after breathing, air is entering inside our lungs and oxygen is giving to the blood vessels, and from blood they are going to take the carbon dioxide. And when we are breathing out, this air will pass the reverse flow and we will release the carbon dioxide outside, and we will get oxygen when we are breathing. And this oxygen is given to the blood. After this, blood will carry the oxygen and giving to the cells. Here you have to remember, in blood we have a hemoglobin. This hemoglobin will combine with the oxygen and giving to the cells. So nose and nasal cavity we have discussed. Next we have the pharynx and larynx. Already we discussed pharynx is a common passage for food and air. So after by using epiglottis, they are going to control the movement. And larynx, we have the vocal cords which will produce the sound by vibrating. Next, we have the trachea. It's a long tube which will take the air. And we have bronchi. Divisions of trachea are dividing into two branches. Bronchioles, we told a multiple branch of bronchi. Alveoli, where we are going to exchange the gas. Now, when we are seeing gas exchange inside the alveoli, after taking air, this oxygen will enter inside the blood and it will combine with the hemoglobin. So remember, hemoglobin is helping for transporting the oxygen. This hemoglobin will carry the carbon dioxide, hemoglobin and blood plasma. They will carry the carbon dioxide and they are giving back to the alveoli, so that when we are breathing out, this carbon dioxide will go out of the body. Next important, we have the diaphragm. If you are seeing after the lungs, we have here diaphragms. The diaphragm have two functions. First, when we are breathing in, this diaphragm will contract or they will increase the surface area. So when they are increasing surface area, there is an increase in the volume. So when they are getting more volume, they can take more air inside the lungs. And when we are breathing out, this diaphragm, they are going to relax. When they are relaxing, they will move upward and they will give a pressure to the lungs. And now the lungs is able to release the complete air outside. Next, one of the important question, that is, when we are breathing inside, we are actually taking 0.04% of carbon dioxide. When we are breathing inside, we are taking 0.04% of carbon dioxide. Okay, we are taking 0.04% of carbon dioxide. But when we are breathing outside, it is increased to 4.4%. So here you can see there is a increment of 100 times of carbon dioxide. From where we are getting this carbon dioxide? Actually, this carbon dioxide is a byproduct. We know that already we saw that here after the respiration we are getting carbon dioxide as a byproduct. So this carbon dioxide is the reason why we have a increment of 4.4% while we are exhaling the air. So till now we have discussed about our human being. Now we'll see aquatic animals. Here one thing we have to remember, aquatic animals are getting oxygen from the dissolved oxygen in water. Amount of dissolved oxygen in water is very less. So here what will happen, because of less amount of oxygen, the aquatic animals have to breathe faster. So remember, there is a chance of question, why aquatic animals have faster breathing comparing to the terrestrial animal. Aquatic animal means any animals living inside the water. Terrestrial means they will come to the surface or land. Now the aquatic animals are actually using dissolved oxygen. The amount of dissolved oxygen is very less. So the aquatic animals have to breathe faster. Next, when we are seeing respiration in plants, this stomata is the main from where these plants also will get the oxygen. Like photosynthesis time, when the carbon dioxides are absorbed by plants by using stomata, same way respiration time, stomata will help them to absorb the oxygen. Other than that, through the root hairs and lenticles of stem. Lenticles of stem means, imagine this is a stem. Here you can see small holes or lenticles. These areas are used to absorb the oxygen in plants. And here remember, this respiration is in plants are opposite to the photosynthesis. And in photosynthesis they will release oxygen, but respiration time they will take the oxygen and they will release the carbon dioxide. And same way they are using the carbohydrate which is produced during the photosynthesis. This carbohydrate they are going to convert into energy and carbon dioxide plus water. This is what respiration in the plants. So thank you.